It's been a tough couple of days for Elon Musk. We've seen his family drama exposed and blowing up all over social media. We see his plans completely backfiring as the MAGA heads of federal agencies are telling Elon Musk to shut up, go away, and that they will not be listening to any instruction that he gives. And DOGE was actually just dealt its worst blow yet from inside, as there were dozens of DOGE staffers who are quitting, sticking it to Elon, and calling him out. Yes, his own agency is completely crumbling, and we are only a month into this. And of course, he's losing it, and we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into this breaking news about the DOGE mass purge from inside, I want to hear Senator Chris Murphy call out Elon's corruption in a great takedown right here.
I think billionaires should pay a little bit of taxes, don't you? I mean, listen, this whole thing is a fraud, right? It's a con. It's a grift, right? From the very start, the Trump administration has been about one thing and one thing only: stealing from all of us, stealing from regular people, stealing from poor people, stealing from the middle class in order to enrich their billionaire Mar-a-Lago cabal. And we're not going to let them do it, right? We're not going to let them do it. Listen, what is happening inside this building right now is an abomination, right? An abomination. Where you are talking about the most massive transfer of wealth and resources from poor people and the middle class to the billionaires and corporations in the history of this country, right? You're talking about $880 billion of cuts to Medicaid. Now, I get it, like $880 billion, like what does that mean, right? That's a huge number. Nobody understands. Let me tell you what that means. That means that sick kids die in this country. That means that hospitals in depressed communities and rural communities close their doors, right? That means that drug and addiction treatment centers disappear all across this country. That means that millions of working families who have insurance today, because, by the way, 24% of Americans get their health care from Medicaid, they all of a sudden don't have their health care tomorrow. And for what? And for what? Because Elon Musk needs another $1 billion? I mean, I have no idea what I would do with $1 billion, right? I have no idea what I would do with $1 billion. Never mind $2 billion or $3 billion or $4 billion. The scope of this greed is something that we have never, ever seen before in this country, and we should not accept it as normal in the United States of America. So let me just make one more point. The destruction of our democracy is part of this story, right? And we need to tell this to people. This is super unpopular, what they are doing. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants their health care to disappear, their hospital to close, so that Elon Musk can pocket a little bit more money. Nobody wants that. So how do you get away with it? You try to destroy our democracy. You try to crush dissent. You threaten members of Congress with arrest. You shut down TV and radio stations that dare to tell the truth. You endorse political violence, right? So we need to make sure that we tell this full story. And the full story is pretty simple. It's the handover of our government to the billionaires, made possible by the destruction of democracy so that the people can't rise up and contest it. And none of that is going to happen if we have anything to do with it here in the United States Congress, all right? So listen, thank you so much for being here. These millionaires and billionaires and corporations, they got a lot of money and they got a lot of lobbyists, right? But regular people have lobbyists too. That's right. And it's all of you, right? We have, right. AOC says it's better than anybody else, but we still have more people than they have, right? We still have more power. We still have more votes. And by showing up here every single day, you prove that. Thank you very much.
This is exactly how we have to be taking these guys on. We have to be applying the pressure all the time. As I said at the start of this video, we are seeing Donald Trump's own appointees at federal agencies, his own cabinet members, tell Elon, no, you're not going to fire my employees via email. The power struggle is beginning. It's starting to play out. There were a lot of predictions that this would be the week where things would really start to fall apart, and that is certainly playing out as we can see right here. Federal technology staffers resigned rather than help Musk and DOGE. More than 20 civil service employees resigned Tuesday from billionaire Trump advisor Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, saying they were refusing to use their technical expertise to dismantle critical public services. We swore to serve the American people and uphold our oath to the Constitution across presidential administrations, the 21 staffers wrote in a joint resignation letter, a copy of which was obtained by the Associated Press. However, it has become clear that we can no longer honor those commitments. The employees also warned that many of those enlisted by Musk to help with his slashing the size of the federal government under President Donald Trump's administration were political ideologues who did not have the necessary skills or experience for the task ahead. The mass resignation of engineers, data scientists, and product managers is a temporary setback for Musk and the Republican president's tech-driven purge of the federal workforce. It comes amid a flurry of court challenges that have sought to stall, stop, and unwind their efforts to fire or coerce thousands of government workers out of jobs. The staffers who resigned worked for what was once known as the United States Digital Service, an office established during President Barack Obama's administration after the botched rollout of healthcare.gov, the web portal that millions of Americans have used to sign up for the insurance plans of the Democratic president's signature healthcare law. All had previously held senior roles at such tech companies as Google and Amazon and wrote in their resignation letter that they joined the government out of a sense of duty to public service. Trump's empowerment of Musk upended that. The day after Trump's inauguration, the staffers wrote they were called into a series of interviews that foreshadowed the secretive and disruptive work of Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. According to staffers, people wearing White House visitors' badges, some of whom would not give their names, grilled the nonpartisan employees about their qualifications in politics. Some made statements that indicated they had a limited technical understanding. Many were young and seemed guided by ideology and fandom of Musk, not improving government and technology. Several of these interviewers refused to identify themselves, asked questions about political loyalty, attempted to pit colleagues against each other, and demonstrated limited technical ability, the staffers wrote in their letter. This process created significant security risks. Earlier this month, about 40 staffers in the office were laid off. The firings dealt a devastating blow to the government's ability to administer and safeguard its own technological footprint. These highly skilled civil servants were working to modernize Social Security, veteran services, tax filings, health care, disaster relief, student aid, and other critical services, the resignation letter states. The removal endangered millions of Americans who rely on these services every day. Their sudden loss of their technology expertise makes critical systems and America's data less safe. Those who remained, about 65 staffers, were integrated into DOGE's government slashing effort. About a third of them quit today. We will not use our skills as technologists to comprise core government systems, jeopardize Americans' sensitive data, or dismantle critical public services, they wrote. We will not lend our expertise to carry out or legitimize DOGE's actions. This is exactly the type of pushback we need and exactly the type of public pressure that needs to be brought on Elon Musk. We need more people pushing back, and doing so from within DOGE is incredible. That is great news to start the day. And the news only got better as we saw Senator Murphy start off a little bit of a protest today. We also saw Representative and an incredible Democrat, Greg Cesar, there as well. And I want to take a look at what he had to say.
Today, we are here to say clearly, enough with the attacks on working people in order to fund billionaire tax cuts. I'll say it again. Enough with the attacks on working people in order to fund billionaire tax cuts. Enough to the cuts to programs that working people have earned through their hard work. Enough with the lying and the gaslighting. This is not about making government more efficient for working people. The Republican plan is about making government more efficient for big corporations and billionaires who are screwing us over. We don't need to cut Social Security. We can expand it. We don't need to cut people's health care. We can expand it. We can have a country that is better off for small business owners and for workers alike if we just tax the billionaires instead of funding the billionaires. Today, Republicans here in the House will try to pass this billionaire budget resolution. There's some, yeah, it's terrible. They're going to try, now they're going to try to talk about their complicated math or legalese, but what's going on for the everyday person is really simple. And so I want the folks watching at home to know that what House Republicans are trying to pass today is to steal from seniors, steal from children, steal from veterans, all to pay for tax cuts for the ultra-rich. That's what it is. They want to end Medicaid as we know it just to pay for tax breaks for guys like Elon Musk. The bottom line is their plan is billionaires get richer, everybody else gets screwed. Now, they think they've got a lot going for them. They've got the money, they've got the big corporations, they have the White House and the Republicans in Congress. But I don't really like their odds because House Republicans and billionaires are picking a fight with working Americans. And in a democracy, the people win. 8 years ago, when extreme Republicans had the White House and both the House and the Senate, they had the money, they had their plan to take health care away from millions of Americans and end the Affordable Care Act, but the American people won and those House Republicans lost. And we're right back in the same situation because today something is happening in America. Americans are rising up to say we want a government by and for the people, not by and for the billionaires. You see it in protests and marches and at Republican town halls all across the country. I can promise you, even though when the press go and ask some of these Republicans whether they're worried about what they're seeing at their town halls, whether they're worried about those protests, they have to lie through their teeth when they say they're not worried because we hear them in the hallway worried. They're worried because they know that they have a choice. They can either be representatives of their districts or they can act like Trump Musk employees. They have that choice. And they know that if they keep acting as Trump Musk employees, that the people in their district are going to demand a representative. And that puts them in a tight spot. And while the Republicans say they have a majority, they're not telling the full truth there. It's a very thin majority. And if just 3 House Republicans choose to act as representatives of their districts rather than Trump Organization employees, then we can block this billionaire tax ripoff, protect working families, save our health care as we know it.
This is exactly how we have to be fighting back. I love the energy that we are seeing Democrats bring. This is what we need more of, and we're certainly going to be covering on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you're stuck around to the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.